Hi, everyone. My name is Anastasia. I'm head of talent acquisition at Flarvan Ventures. We are a venture capital fund, which are investing in early-stage startups from Europe and North America. We usually invest in B2B SaaS, B2C, and after we invest in startups, we help with recruitment, marketing, operations, PR, fundraising as well. And to be completely honest with you today, I'm a little bit skeptical using AI in recruitment, because there are a lot of tools which automate the recruitment process, but still there are a lot of gaps in integrations, and I think that we need to discuss it today, right, to think about it more. So today, together with Ramon and Mohammed, we will discuss AI in recruitment. Ramon, Mohammed, please introduce yourself briefly.
Cool, so hello everybody. My name is Ramon, I'm the CEO and co-founder at Nova. At Nova, we are creating a global top talent network. So you can think of us as some kind of LinkedIn, but curated on the entry. So basically all our members have been pre-selected for their talent. And it's precisely here where we have been already using some AI, and also as we are serving some of the best employers out there, from McKinsey to BCG to high-growth scale-ups, we're also implementing some AI features to serve clients in their recruitment processes.
Hello, everyone. This is Mohammed. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Valence AI. Valence is an actual infrastructure for platforms to utilize AI in their recruitment. What happens is an AI that actually conducts an interview with the candidates and then write a report about them and then make sure that their technical skills matching with their with the job requirements, and then we give the humans the involvement in the hiring process.
Interesting. According to the Future of Recruiting LinkedIn survey, only 30% of the companies already invested and use AI in their company. And also 80% of the companies are considering to invest in AI tools in 2024. So the question is for both of you, could you each share your perspective on what are the reasons of that growing interest and how AI is capable of changing the traditional hiring and screening within the tech companies?
Yeah, so if I may start, Mohammed, and then you complement. So I would say that, of course, AI is very trendy, right? We are all using ChatGPT, and of course, you see it working, and you imagine, okay, how can I implement this into my recruitment processes? So I'd say there's three ways where I believe there's some good tooling with AI that can improve, in a way, recruitment processes. So the first one is the candidate outreach, right? So with ChatGPT, you can create more customized messages for your candidates. I always believe that a final human touch is good because we're starting to understand which texts were generated by AI, right? But I think it can streamline some of that process. And there's also starts to be a few tools out there, like People GPT, for instance, where you simply with text you tell the tool, hey, I'm looking for these and that type of profiles, and they perform a LinkedIn search for you to have kind of a long list of candidates, right? So candidate outreach, it's definitely a part where I'm seeing some good innovations. However, I would say the biggest part where I believe AI is playing a big role is probably the second layer, which is the screening, right? If you have ever posted a job on LinkedIn, you already got 200 plus applicants, right? And that's kind of daunting. It's a bit of a nightmare. So there's screening being done on CVs that makes sense and it's useful. And a second, or the next layer of screening, that is the one we have implemented at Nova, is that now with AI, you can also screen video interviews, right? And that's very powerful, because before that, we had to spend hours and hours checking videos of people who wanted to join the network. Now we do it through OpenAI with a much less biased model, much more accurate, and that's pretty cool. And then the third layer, I believe, where Mohammed is also going, is also in the interview process, right? So for instance, the headhunters that we have in the team providing services for clients, they're using AI to have a transcript of the interview, to generate a report for the client. I've seen companies using it to train their interviewers, right? So I think on all three levels, so candidate outreach, screening, and live interviews, there are use cases, but of course, as we'll probably discuss later, without a human touch, you cannot attract the best talent, right? It's simply impossible.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do agree with you on many aspects. And an important thing to add is actually the AI is coming to the traditional screening to bring in more fairness to the process, because I do believe that the humans, by nature, they do have perspectives, they do have perceptions, and the machines actually somehow don't. Okay, so by a way or another, like for example, in the last 3 days, Valence has screened 5,000 candidates for platforms across the Middle East. This 5,000, if you would calculate it 30 minutes, and if you have one recruiter that's having an entire day of interviews, most probably this recruiter will get tired, and their judgment on the candidates by end of the day would be very, very hard to be true on both sides, if the candidate is good or if the candidate is bad. So the AI, like the companies are investing so much money on the AI because there is a real breakthrough in the efficiency of the businesses and bringing in efficiencies to the business that it doesn't only involve the recruitment, it involves many aspects. So the recruitment is not far from being a good function of the business that the businesses actually rely on them. So having a good AI that actually screens the candidates for you is not now an option or like something that we should actually have an opposite opinion about. It's more how we can rationalize this in a way that helps the businesses to become more efficient.
I couldn't agree more, and I remember myself at the beginnings of Nova watching those videos myself. I've watched thousands, and it's very tiring. Your judgment is not the same if you had a good day, had a bad day, it's 9 a.m. or it's 6 p.m., so I fully agree with Mohammed in that sense.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you. And AI has its drawbacks here too. I heard about an untold harm discussion, and AI does in recruiting. I'm talking about some negative effects of AI-driven hiring tools where qualified candidates are wrongly excluded due to algorithmic biases and errors. And the question is to Mohammed, Valence automates several recruitment stages from resume reading to interviewing, right? How do you handle the untold harm and prevent AI from mistakenly rejecting qualified candidates?
Cool. Just to make sure that everyone understands the context of how the AI usually works. It is like a baby, okay? So you do have, like whenever you have a new baby, you tell them, this is like a traffic lamp. You shouldn't pass when it's red. And you should pass when it's green, and you should prepare when it's yellow. So the same goes with the AI. So you do, first step, you prepare data set. And with the data set, you go to the training phase where you give the AI, this candidate is a good candidate, or this candidate is a bad candidate. And then you test this, like how this AI was trained. Like one example about, so the bias itself is actually appears in the 2 stages, when you prepare the data set and when you are testing the data set. For example, Amazon, they were preparing their data set on their actual employees. Okay, this is an incident happened by Amazon. So they were preparing their data set. They used all the employees' resumes, they trained their model, and their model accidentally becomes discriminated or biased against women. Because most of the representation of men in the data set was way more than the representation of women. So what we have made sure while we were building our platform, that I came from data management background. I used to work, used to work in multiple companies in the data. So we were making sure that our data set is actually representing different cultures, just to make sure whenever the AI is actually making a judgment on the candidate, this candidate is represented in our data set in the fair percentage that the others are represented as well. So here you can discriminate or disclose all this, the personal features of the candidates and focus on the technical skills and soft skills that's required by the job descriptions. And thanks to the recent technology or the breakthrough in the AI, that's actually helping so much to make it easier for everyone to step in this process and make it more fair and more appeal to the other candidates. And the change or the candidates have all the rights to actually request the reason why they were failed in the screening process, for example. With the human aspect, you can't. With the human aspect, it's more or less like your gut feeling, so you can change the narration to whatever you think it makes sense. But with the AI, you can't. With the AI, it is very strict, and it's percentage-wise. And then if you implement in the AI in your screening process, you would have something to discuss. Okay, so this is something tangible to have a proper discussion, and your lawyer can ask the company to provide you with a reason why was I rejected. But with the qualitative aspect, the human aspect, it's quite very hard.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're saying, basically, we need women and men to be to prepare data sets, right? To
Not just women and men. Like every presentation of the company or every presentation of people should be represented in the data set.
Yeah, totally
Not
agree
just
with
men
you.
and women.
Yeah, and we all know that not only recruiters but also candidates use ChatGPT, right, to prepare their resumes and cover letters. And Ramon, Nova Talents aims to be the digital agent for the world's top talent. If sourcing outside pre-selected bases, how, in your opinion, can recruiters effectively select the best candidates when the applications are ChatGPT and quite alike?
Yeah, good question. So I think that the problem there is that we picture ourselves just checking a CV or max a CV and a cover letter as the first step in a screening process, right? And that's what's fundamentally wrong. Like if you satisfied yourself with only checking a CV and a cover letter, welcome to today's world. People will lie or would make it look better than it is, and it will be hard to find the really good people amongst all the applicants. So here the key is to have more holistic processes at the outstart of the selection process. That means that, for instance, in our case, instead of having the typical waterfall model where I check a CV, if I like the CV, I do a test, and if I like the test, I perform an interview, our process is holistic from design, so we assess everything, and considering everything, we make a decision, right? And if in that everything you can have the candidate, now it's very easy to have video interviews. Those are much harder to fake today, right? So yeah, that would be my recommendation. Would be like, don't get satisfied with checking CVs. Don't ask for a cover letter because it's going to be always ChatGPT. It's nonsense in today's world. Try to go a bit further and try to use technology to analyze the candidate a bit more holistically, and that way your screening is going to be more accurate, and the candidates that you are inviting for probably in-person interviews would be really the best, considering everything, right? Not considering only their CVs or their cover letters.
Yeah. Navigating challenges and opportunities like that is one of the tasks many recruiters and HR teams face already. Let's talk about it more. Also to you, Ramon, as you work closely with candidates in Nova, how do you see the challenges now, and if there are any that could be resolved with AI right now in these days?
You mean challenges on the candidate side for applying to jobs? I mean, I guess that's around education probably. So we are not that advanced in that area. We do provide, for instance, programs for our younger members to prepare for careers. So we have programs to help you join management consulting, investment banking, product management, kind of highly demanded careers. I guess that's there. I'm seeing a lot of tools out there using AI, to improve education and make it more personalized. But it's a tough market out there right now. It's not a candidate market yet. Now we still see a lot of super talent, having a little bit of difficulty finding jobs. Yeah. But hopefully, the interest rates will get lower, and the candidate market that we had in 2021, 2022 will hopefully come back. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I hope, at least.
Yeah. Of course. So to all of you, considering the challenges we've touched on, I would like to pivot to another really important topic, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. In your opinion, if there are any chances that AI can mitigate the biases in terms of race, gender, other factors. And I'm wondering if you already have some features in your platforms.
So yeah, I might start. So something that we really invested in was this inclusion part. So for example, one of our models is to detect the first impression of the recruiter about the candidate, the psychometric aspect about it. And we followed the big 5 personality traits. And to make sure that our model is not biased towards one of the towards one of the cultures, we found a scientific paper online, and we tried their data set, and we found their data set is very US based. So most of the data set were people from the US, and it was trained on their visual features. Okay, visual features meaning like how they look, and ignoring other features. So that started with our, like long commitment to the having these diversified models. We brought in occupational psychologists from the British Association, and we have mapped together a long path on how we can make our AI takes away the first impression from the recruiter and give it to the AI in a way that actually serves the candidate more than serving the recruiter. So we brought in huge data set, around 80,000 minutes of interviews, and we brought in occupational psychologists from different cultures to give a first impression about the candidate. And that really helped our models to make a justifiable first impression about the candidate. And the same goes for the screening point before and the bias point. For example, if I am Egyptian myself, Mohammed, I'm applying for a company that someone was not really in love with some beliefs, I would be rejected immediately. But with the AI, I do have a reason why I'm not rejected,
Yeah.
So I believe this, again, this inclusivity part is way towards improving and implementing the AI inside any company.
Totally, I think that AI is going to be much less biased, if anything. In our case, what we're doing in those video interviews I was explaining before is that we are not assessing anything related to the candidate's image. So with the technology today, it's very easy to do transcripts. And what we're actually assessing in each of those behavioral question interviews, so behavioral interview is something like, can you explain a time where you showed leadership skills, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of processing your video, which without the right data sets may have some kind of bias for or against women, for or against certain ethnicity, we're just analyzing the text, right? And that's as unbiased as it can get. And that's what we are comparing against the type of answers that are the best candidates would give or the worst candidates would give. No? So in our case, I do believe it's actually helping us the bias, because otherwise we will rely on human beings, and we know that we as humans, we all have our cognitive biases.
Yeah. In my opinion, AI is very important, using in terms of biases of gender, race, and other stuff. But still, I have some doubts regarding, screening. This resume ChatGPT edited, so I have questions to this. So continuing our conversation, I have the last question to Mohammed. Valence handle a lot of tasks that humans used to perform earlier, which we already discussed, right? And how do you ensure it maintains personalization and human touch in interactions with candidates?
It's a very good question. So, well, usually when personalization is discussed in such setup, it goes towards how we comfort people, how would you address them with their first name? How would you address them, how we will become very, very nice to them. But actually, when you lay people off, you don't really care about their names, So we care about personalization from a more practical point of view. So the personalization here is we would really give you an actual report about what you did good and what you did bad. Okay, what you really need to improve. This is something that humans cannot do in an automated way. So, if, for example, if 200 people are applying for one job, you will not meet them, right? So you will actually just skip 150 interviews, like the same example that you used about LinkedIn. 200 people have applied, you skipped 150, you focused on 50, only 10 of them were interviewed. But with an AI, you would actually meet each single one of them and give them a detailed automated report about what they did good, what they did bad. This is like another level of personalization that's actually needed now. People have understood that, especially after the wave of layoffs that happened before, that we are here working together. We don't need to have, like this silly aspect of I'm comforting you, but tomorrow I will lay you off. No, I need to actually, this is a quite contractual relation between the company and the people, and it's actually one of the rights of people on the company to know what they have done right and what they have done wrong to actually improve themselves. This is the real personalization that people need right now, not like comforting them and bringing beanbags. No one cares.
No, totally. I think that feedback part is new. However, there are certain parts, depending on the type of candidates that you work with, that I don't think the AI is ready in any way to automate. So for instance, in our case, a lot of the positions that our clients request from us is the type of jobs where the candidates are not looking for a job, right? So you post a job, you send them the notification, they don't apply, right? You need to convince them to apply, right? And I think convincing someone very talented of a career shift, that's a very human skill that is very far, or the current AI is very far from automating. So the work that headhunters typically do on reaching out to a very good candidate and convincing that candidate, that's a safe job for now. And then in our case also, for us, the selection process is very important. And it's that important that it's still a human being making the final call, although the AI would assess the interview, although we have automated the scoring system for the background and the test, it's always a human being, and we don't plan to remove that human being in the short term, because you never, it's a little bit of a black box sometimes, and you never know, is it actually going to always work, right? So there are certain parts of the process that are going to still remain very human, and where humans add a lot of value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. Mohammed, what do you think, in your point of view, what is the one human aspect of recruitment that AI cannot replace?
At the end, people work with people, right? So for sure, you have to have like this human interaction at the final stages of the interview. So you have made sure that this person is fit to your to the function that you are hiring them for, and then you have to make sure that this person is fitting with the other people working with them. Mm-hmm. So this human touch at the end, it will never be replaced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree with you. All right, thank you a lot, Ramon and Mohammed. Probably we have a couple of minutes for the questions. If you have some, please raise your hand. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, both of you, or three of you, for a very, very interesting discussion. I have one question. When you guys started, you mentioned that there were sort of three phases towards recruitment. I would like to explore your mind a little bit about the phase before and the phase after. So the phase before being actually selecting the skills for the actual role, and if AI plays a part of that or will. And the second, it would be after the hiring. How do we keep employees engaged and have a career path and so on? Thank you.
No, totally. I think that AI will augment all the functions of HR in general. No? So we were concentrating on the recruitment, but I can definitely see AI writing, it's already there, right? Writing better job descriptions, or even figuring out in a better way the type of skills that a team is needing, right? There you need a lot of data, you need to be connected to the ERP or somehow, no? to get that information, but certainly. And in the same way, there's a lot of parts of the experience of a candidate that an AI can provide even a better experience with the report that Mohammed was talking about. I don't think we are yet, or in most companies, at a level where we do enough to support the careers of the talent that we have in the company, right? I wish I had more tools to help my people develop the skills they need, get more constant feedback and recommendations on how to improve their skills. And certainly, AI will play a tool there. I don't know exactly how, and I haven't used as many tools just yet, but it's the kind of tool that, it's clear AI driven.
If I get your question right, you are talking about the steps before posting even the job as a recruiter, right? So this is very, very interesting aspect. We had some thoughts about it at Valence, and again, we were discussing it from more fairness perspective. So, for example, what are the real questions that should be asked for this person, and how would you judge their answer? Okay. We are now in our platform. We actually suggest the main questions based on the history of this same job was interviewed on Valence, and we suggest something called answer as a criteria. This answer as a criteria is, for example, if 100 people have applied to the same job, the AI interviews each single one of them and gives them a score based on the context of their answer. So, for example, if you asking the question of introduce yourself or how do you see yourself in 5 years or whatever, these are very vague questions, right? So if 10 people are applying to the same person who have interviewed them, he would have different perspective about each one of that single one of them. What we are providing is actually a criteria that's being analyzed by the job description and the company and the employees of this company. And then we filter the candidates' answers against these answers criteria so that we can bring in more fairness to the answers. So I hope that I have answered your question.
Okay, thank you a lot. Thank you, Ramon and Mohammed, for your amazing insights.